Hey guys, and welcome to another video for Lost Ark. Today we're going to talk about gear upgrading. So for this video we're going to concentrate more on the part on the left side from your character. So basically what we're going to look at is your helmets, your shoulders, your chest plate, your pants, your gloves and your weapon. The reason why we're going to look into that is really simple. Since this gear is pushing your gear score, doesn't mean that accessories and rings and whatnot and ability stones, bracelets later on are not worth it. Of course they are, they give you a lot of stats, but we're gonna concentrate today more about the gear score progression. So this is the part, this is what this video is there for, especially since in tier 1, also in the other tiers, we want to increase our gear score to reach more content, to be able to do more void dungeons, chaos dungeons, guardian raids, whatever you could think of. A lot of stuff in this game is gear score gated, so we're gonna concentrate on that. Just take the note that accessories and stuff like that can push your character also to be a lot better. So even if you reach a certain gear score, doesn't mean that you are ready for this content. Well, for tier 1 it does, because in tier 1 the content is actually not that hard. But for tier 2 and tier 3 it gets more and more important to also have good accessories, engravings and all the stuff that comes together. As for this video, we're just gonna concentrate about the gear score part, and this is the most important thing, I would say, at least for tier 1, and after that all the other stuff. But we're gonna make guides for that as well. So first of all, right, so every one of you guys wants to do this. You want to go to the upgrading dude, you want to know what materials you need, you want to have them, you're actually gonna pay them in, you're gonna upgrade your gear, you're gonna have your success chains, and you're gonna upgrade it. Wow. And increase your gear score, of course. But before we can do that, we need to learn where we can get the materials from. And since this is really important, we're gonna use the website Papunica once again. I know I use them a lot in my videos, but the site is just too good, and I could make now a video where I edit a lot of images in and tell you like you can go there and there and there. But the informations are faster to find on Papunica, so I'm just gonna show you where you can find it and actually how to understand the website. It will give you faster or more knowledge, and you can always look this up without scrolling through my video and finding the right thing. So with that being said, we're just gonna pop up the website now. Alright, and here we are on the website already. So basically what we're gonna look for is for the tab growth resources. There is a gear progression as well, which basically tells you do your chaos dungeon, get your gear, or do Shureshire and get your gear then as well at the end of the questline from Shureshire instead of making the first chaos dungeon, upgrading your gear to plus 15, blah blah blah, to 600 and stuff like that. This is, well, technically right, but we're gonna go more in specific in this video, so I would not even recommend this website, even though, well, it gives you a little bit of a clue what you have to do. But other than this is like really easy, and this is not what I want to guide you. But the most important part, as I already mentioned before, is the upgrading materials. So you have upgrade materials, and this is called emerald shards in the Russia version, right? So I'm gonna use for now the Russian version names, because I don't really know anymore what the name was in our version. But this icon will be the same, so it may be just gonna have a different name, and that's it, right? So you can see all the different materials here, and you can see this is a cube ticket, so it's like just another source of getting materials and stuff like that. You can actually find them in chaos dungeons, as it is shown here, over symbols, which is like guild currency and whatnot. Not want to go too deep into that, but just to say there's like stuff you can get in different content as well, which is also a part of the gear upgrading. Also for ability stone, which gives you passive modifiers. Secret maps give you also, again, materials. These things here are for your Abyss Dungeon set items, and this is just meant to be engraving books, I think so. It looks like, at least. So I gonna say this is engraving books. All that stuff is making your character also stronger. It doesn't push you in item level, but it is also there, and it is also noticeable, and we actually go over class set items as well. So this is also getting important for us. Well, as of for now, we're gonna go real quick over the icons here. So basically they call this fragments, so I guess we're just gonna stick to that for now. Again, the name can be a bit different in our release, but I think it was actually fragments though. So just because this is the guide, well, mainly for our release, but since everything is going to be the same in tier 2 and tier 3, just directly so that you know, this green fragments here exists in tier 1, and then if you go to tier 2, it is like the same, it's just like blue fragments and they have a different name. And for tier 3, it is like orange fragments and they just have a different name again as well. So it is always going to be the same. And these fragments are to polish your gear, and these are to upgrade your gear. Well, the polishing and the upgrading is technically the same step. You need those materials to upgrade your gear to improve in gear score, and that's it. The same goes for leap stones. Fusion stones, I don't really know if they are still used to. If you need them, you get them in the housing, so you can craft them yourself. There was like at some point a step also in the lower tier where you actually need to have fusion stones, but I think if I remember right, it was in tier 2, so you had to craft them and to upgrade like one time your gear. This is like a step in between where you go from a certain gear score to another one where you need one time fusion stones for all of your gear. And then after that you didn't need them anymore. So this could be still in the game. I don't know, like I didn't mention it in the beta at least. So as of for our release, I think we don't have to deal with that yet. But for later on, if you need them, you can just craft them in your housing, and that's it. And then there are these materials here. So this should be normally 3 different icons. It is training auxiliary material. Well, I guess if I'm not completely wrong, I guess they even reduce it to just one material, but maybe there are different ones. So basically what this is doing, I'm going to show you in game. It is going to increase your chance that your upgrade is going to be successful. Well, since I'm talking now about an upgrade being successful, it is not like other games where you destroy your gear if you fail or so. It is just if you fail it, you have to spend your mats again. It's still gonna stay on the same gear score. It doesn't break or whatever. It doesn't goes a level down. It stays on the same level. Your chance is going to be a bit higher for the next try as well. So you even increase your chance, and it's just like at some point if you want to upgrade your gear higher, the success rate is not 100% anymore. But this is but for this scenario, there are these items. They are just increasing the chance to get a successful upgrade. So if it is like 80% and you use this item, it can go back to 100% increase again. So your item is 100% up, like it doesn't fail. So you get the next gear score basically. So with that being said, so this is all the materials you care about. Again, this is like other materials. So engravings is for your passive character. This is for your set items. Cube is for certain dungeons. Secret maps is like a mission. You can share that in groups as well. So if you're 4 players and everyone has a secret map, it shows you a spot on the minimap, or like it shows you like a little spot, and you have to figure out on what continent it is and where it is. So you go over there. If you have the secret map in your inventory, you can open up a portal there, which is normally not possible. You enter that. It's like, well, a little dungeon or so. It's not really a dungeon. It's like nothing hard in there. You're just gonna kill there like some monsters. You get materials. Mostly you get emerald shards as well, and that's it. So basically you also get training auxiliary material, if I remember right. But yeah, you get materials. If you are 4 players and you share to everyone your secret maps, everyone gets 4 times to loot. So it is better to do this in group, and that's about it. Well, now let's come on where to obtain this. So basically, that's why I'm using this website. It just shows you directly where you can get the stuff. So I don't have to make like 1 billion videos where I show you what you can get in Chaos Dungeons and what you can get in Guardian Raids or whatever. So the only thing that you need to know is what does this icons here mean. So basically this pillar here, the yellow thing, means Chaos Dungeons. It is actually the same icons on the minimap as well, or on your world map. So you can actually just compare them. This means Guardian Raids, this means Tower, this means Ghost Ship, I believe. Secret maps, where you're gonna do on groups. This is dismantling, so if you get gear that you don't need, and you don't want to trade it for gold in the auction house because they're just simply not good, you can dismantle it, you get some materials as well. This is your dailies. This is symbols, or however you spell that currency, to be fair. I don't really know. But this is guild currency, so for guild activities. This is islands, and this is, I think, pirate coins. I could be wrong on that, but I highly think it is going to be pirate coins. I don't really know what this icon should be otherwise. Well, so here is nothing new. There's something new. This is, I guess, like field bosses. There are like events popping up and you have to do the bosses. Actually, you can get these stones there, so I guess it's the right icon. I could be wrong on this one, and I could be wrong on this one if it doesn't mean pirate coins, but I think so because there's nowhere else pirate coins. And yeah, that's about this, right? So I can be wrong on that. I'm also just a human, but I think it is true. Well, here, nothing new. This is just your housing. And this little thing here is the cube where you need the ticket. So if you do Chaos Dungeons, Tower, well, Tower is of course limited, and Simmels, you can get cube tickets. Then you enter these cubes with a group, and you're gonna do it. And you like it's like 20 waves at maximum, I believe it is still. Like they changed cubes 2 or 3 times, so I don't really know how they exactly work at the moment since it's just confusing me since they change it all the time. But normally it is like this: you go in with a group, you reach wave 10, you get all the resources that you got until that. If you're gonna reach wave 20, well, it's over as well, and you get all the resources there. If you die on wave 10, you cannot like say, okay, I don't wanna not use my ticket, your ticket is gone. So use your ticket whenever you feel ready and you think you can go as far as possible. So probably if you drop this on day 1 and you have no gear at all, just don't do the cube directly, right? So do it a bit later once you have gear and you have a good group. And that's it for this. So we go back to the game now, and then I show you how to actually upgrade the gear and what do you need for that, the normal gear, and then also how to do it into your class set items. Oh, and now we are back in the game. So still, our mission is still to upgrade this gear, right? So this character is of course higher, but like just imagine it would be tier 1. So this is a 302 item level item, like gear score. And we're just gonna fill up all the materials. We click on upgrade. I was doing it at the beginning of the video. Well, sadly I don't have the materials for now. But basically you click on treatment first. You're gonna enter your shards, also amount of silver. Keep that in mind that it also costs a bit silver, but silver is not really hard to obtain. And then the materials, you click on upgrade, you come to another window where I was showing you, it tells you a success rate. If the success rate is not high enough, you're gonna use the other currency I was explaining you on the website. This just helps you to push up the success rate. So technically all you're gonna do is now you just gotta click on upgrade, and then of course it upgrades the gear score as it is on this item. It is 1307 because it is already level 2. And this is 1302, as same for the other items. So if an item doesn't is +2, it is always going to be the same gear. The first gear you get in your first Chaos Dungeon, or if you complete the Shulshire questline, you get a box at the end where you get your starter gear, which is gear score level 302 for our release and for tier 1 content in general. And from there on, you're always gonna upgrade it until you reach the gear score that you want to do certain stuff. So the first thing that you want to do is basically you want to upgrade it 2 times, because then your gear score is 340, and with 340 you can do the first void dungeon. We just go real quick over there just to show you that I'm not talking anything, right? Because it is actually like that. But we're just gonna run real quick over there if my dinosaur is not stuck in here. I'm not gonna skip this part because it's gonna take me longer to edit this now than just running over there. So you just have to be patient a little bit. So there we are. We are at the void dungeon. So the first void dungeons are recommended for level 340. With this gear score you can definitely do this already. Of course you can be higher to make it a bit easier, but the first void dungeons are not really hard. You need to know some boss mechanics for this. I also have guides on my YouTube channel, so just check that out if you have problems. But your gear score is going by far to be enough. And actually you also get this materials off of the Elabrian Knight in there, which is going to be then really important to get set items. And how this is going to work, I just gonna show you now. So we just go back because yeah, why not? Sadly, the administrator is staying on the other end of the world, so we have to walk a bit around, but nothing really bad or whatever, right? We have teleportations here. We are fine. So we just go real quick to this guy. So let's imagine I would have this currency now, since I just don't have it, since I didn't done any void dungeons anymore in tier 1, especially now with this character. So if we have now 5 of this, we can craft one item. And this item is also item level 302. So how this works now is you're gonna have your Chaos Dungeon gear, and of course your Chaos Dungeon gear is already item level 340, since you need it to even complete the Abyss Dungeon. Well, I shall show you actually the set bonuses real quick as well before we leave here. So you're gonna craft this gear, it comes with item level 302, and it also has set items on it. So as for this set, it has set effect 2, level 1, I don't know why it is level 1, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't change anything. But yeah, if you have 2 of these set items, you're gonna have attack speed increased by 8%. If you have 5 of these set items, you're gonna have damage deal increased by 10%. There is different set items as well. They give different bonuses. Don't get confused right now because this is legendary. This is just like a set item you get from the second void dungeon. Not the second void dungeon, but like the void dungeons from Rodell, which are for 460 or something like that. Or 420 gear score. I don't really remember the actual gear score on that. But yeah, so there are 2 different set items. So this one gives you when dealing damage to enemies of the legendary type and above, which means like basically bosses, the attack speed and movement speed are increased by 4%, maximum by 8% during 6 seconds. Recovery time is 3 seconds, so your cooldown. So as you can see, this gives you movement speed. So this is a different set item. It costs the same materials, and you can basically like craft one of those set items. You can also say you don't care about the 5 set effect, so you're just gonna have 2 set items of this and 2 of this one. You want to upgrade to this set items, you don't want to use those, because this set items you cannot unlimited upgrade anymore. And it's also like the legendary set items here, they can have add additional damage higher, so the add additional stats can even roll higher in here. So after you come to Rohandel, you don't want to use this anymore. But I'm gonna explain you now how this works. So for this we go again back to the upgrade dude. Why is my dinosaur always stucking? It is a lot of informations. But yeah, I'm just gonna show you everything and then I explain you how it is step by step, okay? Because otherwise it's probably getting confusing. So we basically have this tab here called recycling. Well, again, since I don't have like other items, I cannot really show you that. But the way how this works is you're gonna have your main Chaos Dungeon gear, and we're just gonna like go with the 340 item level, because that's what you need for the first void dungeon, right? So you're gonna have this 340 item level gear, and you crafted your void dungeon gear, which is then like your set items, which is then item level 302. So what you're gonna do is you click on your gear that is item level 340, and then place in the gear, you click on the gear that is 302, sorry, like your void dungeon gear, and then you have here a list of all the items that can be upgraded into that. So as for gloves, you're gonna choose your gloves that are 302 void dungeon, and then you're gonna have here in the list your gloves that are 340 from the chaos dungeon. So what it is doing is basically it transfers the item level to that set item. So nothing else is like getting lost or whatever. Since we are in tier 1, we don't have to care about tree pods as I have here, but that's something else. For that we're gonna do just another video. In tier 1 tree pods are not existing anymore, so we don't have to bother with it. But yeah, so I don't want to just confuse you and give you too much information. So actually forgot about tripods, not tree pods, I always spell that wrong. But yeah, so you have your void dungeon geared, which is 302, and your other gloves, they are 340. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna destroy the gloves that are 340 and put the item level from this gloves on your new gloves, like on your set items. So they're gonna start directly with 340. From that point on, Void Dungeon gear also requires the same mats as your other gear. So if you want to put your gloves from Chaos Dungeon to 360, it's gonna cost the same amount of materials and the same materials than if you would put your Void Dungeon gear to 360. So nothing is going to change there. You just need the special currency to once get your Void Dungeon gear. So you need once to craft them and then you put the stats on it. And the way how it works with this legendary Void Dungeon gear is basically the same. So you're gonna upgrade your Void Dungeon gear, like from the first Void Dungeons that you have, up to 420, I think, and then you can do the next Void Dungeons. If you do the next Void Dungeons, you're just gonna get the materials again and craft the basic gear, and then you put the stats from your epic gear, like the purple gear, onto your legendary gear, and then you have the stats in there, and then you upgrade those. If you choose the wrong set item, you can just do the same. So you can take the other set item that you want, where you want to have the set bonus, and make the stats from the old set item into the new set item that you want to use. So technically, with that being said, and just to give you a little easier explanation, right? So of course you need to understand all of this, but technically it is like this. You cannot make something wrong, since you can always have the one gear that is your main gear and transfer the stats to the other gear you want to use. And that's basically the whole mechanic of set items. So yeah, the steps are basically like this. Go on the Papunica website and make sure that you know where you can farm all the materials, and farm as much materials as you can that day or per week. Upgrade your gear as far as you come. As soon you can do Void Dungeons, get the gear as fast as possible. Put the stats from your gear onto your Void Dungeon gear and upgrade that until you do the next Void Dungeons, and transfer your current Void Dungeon gear into your new Void Dungeon gear and upgrade that until you're like 580 and can do all the content on tier 1, and you're gonna be happy. If you want to progress farther, of course you can always upgrade it more, or you're just gonna do another character, farm more materials, or whatever. It is up to you, right? But this is not the reason for this video. It's just talking about the upgrade system, and it maybe sounds complicated for the first time, but basically I just told you the steps. So basically blindly follow this. Like, try to turn your head off. Again, just keep in mind you cannot make something wrong. So you can never, well, unless you just sell your main item, or like you dismantle your main item with this hammer in your inventory. Unless you don't never do that, you can never get rid of your main gear. So you always gonna have it, and you cannot make something wrong. The worst case scenario that can happen is that you transfer the stats on a wrong item you don't want to use. That's gonna cost you a bit of emerald shards and some silver, not even a lot of materials. It's like really medium. So the worst thing that can happen is that you have to pay this amount again, so you're gonna farm one more day materials, but you didn't lose really any progress. You're just gonna be a bit slower. That's the worst thing that can happen. So nothing really bad or whatever. So you don't really have to worry about it. It is really easier than it sounds like, and as soon you do it, it will come from itself. Like, you will understand it really fast. But yeah, with that being said, I hope this guide is helping you out. I'm sorry that I cannot show you all the items, since I just simply don't have them anymore in Russia. I gonna make sure that I gonna make videos and footages when I play in Russia as well, where I upgrade my gear, so you can see the steps whenever I do something, and I'm just gonna put everything together in one video. But as of for now, we cannot do that, and so on. You can just prepare yourself, and just have the right mindset. You cannot do something wrong. You never have to wait until you do a set item, because you just get the bonuses. As long you don't get them, you're just gonna miss on stats that make the life easier for you. So just always upgrade your gear, doesn't matter what, as soon you have the materials, of course, and that's how you can find the materials. Well, I hope the guide helped you out, and thanks for watching. See you the next time. Bye bye.